Good morning, all of you. Welcome back to the course on cryptography and system security. Hope I'm audible and my open board screen is visible for all of you. Anyone can quickly acknowledge whether the shared screen is visible for you. Is my shared screen is visible? Okay, thank you for your response, Odarsh. Okay, so during our last session, we were discussing about the basics of hash function. We were discussing about the different authentication functions which are related to the hash functions, hashing techniques. Right, under that session we were discussing about different fundamentals or the basic concepts which are related to the encryption. These are the different functions through which we can achieve an integrity, right? Encryption as well as message authentication code, MAC, and hash function. See, we were discussing about the integrity. When we talk about integrity of a message, right, it stands for if any information which we are transmitting, right, that information has to deliver to the receiver without any modification or 100% as sent by sender. We discussed about this, right? This means that during the data transmission, there should not be any changes in terms of, there should not be any disclosure, no traffic analysis, no masquerade, right? No replay attack, no modification or deletion. And finally, there should not be any repudiation, that we say as the non-repudiations. Also, these parameters are no be the part of the requirements of hash functions. Why we need to go for this hash functions? All these concepts which I explained: disclosure, traffic analysis, masquerade, replay, modification, and or deletions or any content changes, and these repudiations. This repudiation may be source side repudiations as well as receiver side repudiations. So these kind of attacks, so in order to avoid or in order to take some precautions to overcome these attacks, all these things which we are coming under the requirements of hash functions, right? So how this integrity is achieved, will bound back to the actual the topic, which is I was explaining about the need or the purpose of an hash function, encryption as well as message authentication codes. All these functionalities, all these techniques which are intended to achieve an integrity, right? Integrity in terms, right, whatever the message which is being conveyed or transmitted to the receiver, that has to be delivered to the receiver without any modifications, right? So how this can be achieved, again in terms of encryption. When you talk about encryption, right, encryption is the process through which we'll try to convert or will convert our actual information, that is plain text, to the cipher text, right? So different encryption techniques we studied: DES encryption standard, ORS algorithm, advanced encryption standard, right? And the play for cipher, one time padding. There are different types of transposition as well as substitution encryption technique. We can use any one of this encryption technique, right? Whether it is a private key encryption or sorry, it is a symmetric key encryption, or whether it is a public key encryption. The agenda, the motto behind the encryption is that we are trying to convey, or we are trying to transfer the message securely, right? That case is how this provides an integrity as well as an authentication, because only these two uses, right? If any message is encrypted using a symmetric key encryption, what is mean by this symmetric key encryption? Both the sender and receiver, they will use the same key for encryption at the sender side as well as decryption at the receiver side. So by the way, it provides an integrity as well as an authentication. Authentication, how it achieves an authentication? Because the persons who knows the secret key or session key or no symmetric key, only those who are an authenticated users, because other than the two users nobody knows the key. By the way, we'll assume that if the data is encrypted using a particular key which is already known between the sender and receiver, then the receiver will assume that the data is coming from an authenticated users and he has used a particular key for encryption. Very similarly, when we talk about a second authentication function, which is message authentication code. When we talk about this message authentication code, our actual message, which is we wanted to convey, that is going to be applied to any security functions, similar kind of encryption. Your actual message, along with the actual message, we are going to use a secret key. That secret key again, which will produce a code, a fixed size code. Just make sure that this is not a complete bit to bit encryption or bit to bit conversion, but instead will apply some certain formulas as well as the secret keys, through which it will produce a fixed size output. So our actual message along with the code, which whatever we produce, which is MAC, which is called message authentication code, right? I hope you are understanding it. Our actual message which is being to conveyed, that is applied to any encryption function kind of no function. Through that we will use a secret key. With the help of the secret key we will produce a fixed size code. That codes are called message authentication code. So here our actual plain text along with that MAC code, so that the combined information which is going to be conveyed to the receiver. So here we will have the complete information about message with message authentication code. So by receiving this entire information, and you will segregate these two values. Here it is the message, here the message authentication code. By received message, again the receiver, already this is a secret key which is known by both the sender as well as receiver. Now based on the key whatever the receiver knows, and he will use the same formula which we used, and he will produce a message authentication code. Whatever the code which has been produced are recalculated at the receiver side, and the code will be compared with the code which is received from the sender. If both the values are matches, then the integrity is achieved. We studied about an avalanche effect. What is mean by this avalanche effect? If there is a bit change in the actual information, that may lead to change of the complete information, right? So that even here, even if the attacker attacks the complete information, and if he makes any changes in the actual message, so that will create a complete or different message authentication code, right? If the codes are not matches which has been calculated at the receiver as well as the code which is received from the sender, if both the values are not equal, if these two values are not matches, then receiver will assume that during the data transmission someone has hacked the message and he did some changes in the actual information. So this is how the message authentication code works. And the third which I am trying to explain here, which is our the hash function or hash code, right? So again, I have the separate presentation for this hash code and the related concepts. I will explain the entire concepts which are related to the hash function with the presentation slides. If you have any queries regarding the first two functions which are related to the hash function, which is encryption as well as the message authentication code, we can write in the chat box quickly. I'll be happy to answer for your queries. Any queries regarding the explanations so far what I did? Okay, what about others? I got acknowledgement from Alia. And what about others? Are you clear with the contents which I explained so far? The basic functionalities which are related to the encryption as well as the message authentication code. So under this chapter, we will be mainly focusing on the hash functions, hash codes, rather encryption. Already we detailedly studied about the encryptions as well as um, maybe we'll be discussing about message authentication code, right? Maybe in the later sections I'll be covering a separate session, or I'll be conducting a separate session for message authentication code. Before that, the priority which is given for the hash functions, under this topic we'll be studying about message authentication, sorry, message digest, as well as the hash code, which is SHA algorithm, secure hash algorithm. If you are clear with this, then we'll move to the uh, slide presentation explanation, which through that you will get a more idea about what are the things which comes under the hash functions. I hope the presentation screen is visible. Anyone can quickly write in the chat box. Is the presentation screen is visible, which is titled as cryptographic hash functions. Okay, thank you for your acknowledgement, Alia, and I'll proceed further. So under this session, we'll be covering about overview of the cryptography, hash functions, and the different usages, properties, hash function structures, and then different attacks on hash functions. And the later we'll be studying about different hashing standard, which are SHA 1, 12, and then 512, all these things, right? So some of the part which already we covered in the last session. So basically speaking, the hash functions, right? When we talk about the hash function, is a public function, right? Which accepts a variable size of input, right? The definition for the hash function is a hash function is a public function which accepts variable size of input and it does some operations and which produces fixed size output. This output is called message digest or hash code. I hope you are clear with these definitions, right? So already we covered this definition as well as the sample example for this hash function in the previous session itself, right? So this hash function, this is a simple structure of hash function, right? So this can accept any size of uh, plain text input, right? Variable size of input, and which is going to be all the inputs, all the message, right, which are going to be applied to the hash function, right? Hash function which will produce a fixed size output. That output can be called as a hash code or message digest, right? Now this hash code or this hash functions, right, which can be called as a digital fingerprint of the original document, right? Whatever the information which we are going to transfer, in order to make sure the integrity is achieved, right? So this hash code function which will be used, right? So this is what the formula, right, which is h is the hash function and h of m is the hash code which is applied on the message m, right? So I repeat, hash function is a public function which accepts a variable size of message or input, and so this will produce a fixed size output, depends upon the algorithm what we uses for hash function. MD5 algorithm which produces 128-bit hash code, as well as the SH algorithm. There are different versions, right? 160-bit and then 512 bits. So depends upon the algorithm, depends upon the versions of secure hash algorithm. The message code, the message digest or hash code size will vary, right? If you are clear with this, then we'll move to the next slide. So here, this is again, give me a second and take this pen. Okay. So here we can consider this hash function as achieving our digest function, right? Which are going to be, one second, I'll erase this also. Okay, so because based on the information whatever we are going to get, we are going to reduce into the specific value, right? And so here which can be called as a achieving or the digest function, right, which will reduce or the entire value, right, to the smaller value. So here this the code which will be used for checking and authentication as well as the integrity, right? We can call this as a achieving functions. So here this will be our an example, right? The difference between the encryption as well as hash function, right? So when we talk about an encryption, irrespective of whether it is a substitution encryption or whether it is a transposition encryption, right? If any message is given which is hello world a sample sentence to a show encryption, right? This encryption will be carried out with the help of the key which is used, whether it is a secret key or whether it is a public key encryption, and that will produce a ciphertext. Now the basic difference between the hash function and the encryption is that this encryption function are reversible. If we use this encryption function, whatever the ciphertext which we receive, this is called a ciphertext. Now the ciphertext can be applied to the decryption function. So this, again, we may use the same key in case if it is a symmetric key encryption, and that will reproduce our actual message, which is called a plain text. So when we talk about this, encryption function is reversible. Encryption is a two-way and requires a key to encrypt or decrypt the particular information, whether it is plain text or the cipher text, right? Accordingly, encryption as well as decryption operations will be carried out respectively, right? So when we talk about hash function, for a given message, right, we can produce the hash code. If this is what the message, so this is a clear text that can easily read without using the key. The sentence is longer than the text above. So here this is a sample text message I am taking for example. If this message which is given are fed into the hash function, now this is the hash function, this hash function which produce a fixed size output. But here the basic the difference between this hash function and the encryption is that here there are chances that here in the encryption we may get the similar or the same size of cipher text. If you are using a character or substitution encryption technique, I'd say that if it is a substitution encryption technique, if it is a 10 character, here in ciphertext also will get a 10 characters. Similarly, if it is a 10 character of ciphertext, will reproduce a 10 characters of plain text, right? Where we'll get both the encrypted values as well as the plain text, which will be equal in size. In case if you are using a character bit or maybe the bit encryption, bitwise encryption. When we talk about the hash function, first thing is that which is not reversible, but in case of encryption function, so it's a two-way function which are reversible. But when we talk about the hash function, so it is one-way function. What is mean by this one-way function? Here I could explain it with the next slide because I have the separate content for that, right? And for the given value we can produce the hash code. This is what the hash code, which might be very small in size when compared with the plain text, so which can accept any size of input, right? Whether it is 2 power 1024 bit. From that, which will perform a list of operation that I'm going to explain further, and after performing all these operations, and which will produce maybe smaller in size, which is 128 bit hash code, right? So first of all, the hash code, which is very smaller when compared to the plain text, right? That is the basic difference between the encryption and the hash function. Apart from that, this the hash function is one way function. There is no reversible and there is no dehashing, right? For the given plain text we can produce the hash code. For the given hash code we will not be able to reproduce the plain text. By the way, it is used in most of the password storage techniques, right? So here next we will be discussing about the different motivations for hash functions, right? First of all, there are some limitations with the non-cryptographic checksum, because if the keys are compromised and they are reversible, and easily the attacker can hack the message and they can reproduce it. But there are again in the I mean encryption, it is possible to construct a message that matches with the checksums, whether it is ciphertext or checksum, whatever it may be, and there are chances that we can reproduce the content, right? And when we talk about the hash functions, right, which will through which, right, we will design a code where the original message cannot be inferred based on its checksums or the hash codes. This is what are the hash function, which is completely no secured, which is completely different from our encryption function, right? So for the given hash code or for the given checksum, right, it is impossible to reproduce the plain text, because here the plain text which I consider, which is 2 power 1024, from that I am just producing 128 bit, right? How this is possible? If we are trying to reproduce from 128 bit, how will you reproduce this 2 power 1024 bits? So by the way, which is very secured one, which will be used for integrity, right? This kind of hash function, which is mainly used for all the techniques where we wanted to store our the password in a secured particular places, right? Such that an accidental or intentional changes to the message will change the hash value, right? Through which we'll make sure that the integrity, whether the integrity is achieved, irrespective of whether the changes happened accidentally or intentionally, right? That can be easily detected even if one bit changes in the actual message, so that will produce a completely different hash code. So that may not match with the hash code which were already calculated with the actual information which might have stored somewhere, right? So from this we can easily identify whether the data is secure transmitted by means of checking the integrity. Next we'll be discussing about the applications of hash functions where it can be used. That again, a fingerprint where we wanted to check some file integrity verification, right? You might have, whenever you are downloading a file, right, whenever you are installing something, you might have observed that hash verified. What does that means? During a downloading process, there are chances that maybe some unwanted information might be in terms of viruses as well as anomalies that might have added with the actual software, right? So that the if content added with the actual files, again hash value which will be completely vary after downloading as well as installation, right? So in that cases you will be getting a notification hash verified, right? As well as, so this will be used for a public key fingerprint, right? As well as, so mainly it is used for password storage, right? I'll be explaining about the password storage in a different slide in the later part, right? Along with this, so this hash function can be combined with the encryption function. It does not mean that hash function which has to be applied separately along with the existing functions, which if it's in terms of encryption, this hash function can be combined with this encryption function, right? So we'll use a different techniques which can be combined with the hash functions, so that we can increase the layers of security through which we can achieve the data transmission in a secured way, right? Which is based on the hash message authentication code, which HMAC, right, we'll be discussing in the later part. As well as, so this can be used for a digital signature. In our previous session we were discussing about the RSA algorithm, which is a basic digital signature algorithm, as well as we studied about Elgamal digital signature algorithm. So this digital signature algorithm which used to make sure the authentications, to verify the authentication. What is meant by an authentication? Authentication which proves that the message is coming from an authenticated user in a network, right? Because the data which is going to be encrypted, when we use the digital signature, what is the logic behind the digital signature? Can anyone can unmute or write the answer in the chat box? What is this digital signature? How the digital signature can be formed or achieved, or what is digital signature? Rakib, roll number 65. Authenticate sender, right? How it provides an authentication, how it achieves, how the authentication is confirmed. Authenticate the sender, okay, that I'll agree completely, but how it verifies that, how it confirms that whether he is an authenticated user? Rakib, Shah Eklak, okay, any other answers? Okay, so I'll come to the direct questions. What key is used for to create a digital signature? Anyone? what key is used. Yes, you're right, Alia and Aftaf. Okay, so if any data, if anyone wants to create a digital signature of the message, right, the complete information which has to be encrypted using sender's private key. If any data which is encrypted using sender's private key, so it confirms that, because sender's private key which will known only by the sender, right? By the way, it provides an authentication because the data is encrypted using sender's private key. Other than the senders, nobody knows the private key of the sender. So by the way, it proves an authentications, right? The message is coming from an authenticated users. By the way, users, it creates a digital signatures, right? Encrypt the hash with private key and verify the public key. Here this can be the another uh, uses of hash function, right? Whether digital signature can be applied directly on the message, or the digital signature can be applied on the hash code which is produced by the sender, right? That we, I hope, in the last section we discussed about the basics of hash function or uses of hash function, different variations where we can apply this hash functions, right? So this hash function, as I mentioned earlier, so this will be used to make sure the integrity or actual message which is hash function which is current digest, right? So that is going to be compared, right? So this is which at the receiver end, right? After receiving the message, hash function will be applied and the code will be compared with the previous digest. If it is matches, the receiver will assume that, or the device will assume that the password is correct, right? Or the password is not, the message is not changed. Otherwise the message will be identified as the data has been changed during the transmission, right? So this will be used to create and store the hash of the password, not the actual password, right? And which will be used to identify intrusion detection as well as virus detection, as I mentioned with the previous example, right? Whenever you are downloading any file, and there can be chances that along with the actual information, virus might be added with the file, right? After downloading, you can check the hash. If it is matches, then you can uh, make sure that you can ensure that during the downloading there is no other anomalies which are added. When we talk about the another application of the hash function or hash code, right, which is used for the password verification, right? If you create any database, right, in order to store the user credentials like username and password, always the passwords are the sensitive informations, right, which are to be protected. Always this password which are stored in the database in terms of hash codes, right? I repeat, when you create a database to store the credential informations like usernames, right, and the password, right, you need to write a code in a such a way that if you are a web developer and if you are creating a web page, if your web page accepts the user credentials like username and password, always make sure that these passwords are stored in the encrypted or the hash coded forms, right? If this is the password, right, and so there are different policies through which we can select the password, right? Again, I'll be taking a separate session for the password management, right? So here the password, a secure password will always will contains the combination of capital letters, small letters, characters and numbers. I mean the special characters and numbers, right? The password which will be applied to the hash function that produce a fixed size hash code. This hash code will be stored in the password. Say for example, this is the database, right, where if you have the different users login details like maybe the ID, username and password. If this is my password, say for example my mail ID is sampath at eng.risvi.edu.in, and for my corresponding value, the password will not be stored here directly. Instead, the password is applied to the hash function. The hash code will be stored here, whatever the value which here, so that is going to be stored here, right? So 661dc, I'm not writing the complete hash code, but the hash code will be stored here, h of my password, right? And how this is going to be verified? So here, if I wanted to log in into the any website, I'll be entering my username and I'll be entering the password, whatever the password which I have entered, right? That password again, that will be undergoes these steps. The my entered password, that will be applied with the hash function which has been adapted by this the application or web server, whatever this the database stored, right? And the hash function will be applied, that produce the hash code. Now this hash code which is going to be compared with the hash code which already stored in the database, if both the hash coded are matches, right? So this hash code will be stored whenever I create a password, whenever I create a new account, right? Along with the actual password, there are some other value which will be added as a salt value to increase the security. The salt value will be added with the password, right? So here, whenever I create a password, that password which is applied to the hash function and the hash code is going to be stored here, right? Similarly, when I wanted to log in with the particular account or particular site, whatever the password which I'm entering here, again, so that will be again applied to these the various steps, hash functions, and then which will produce the hash code. This hash code will be compared. If it is matches, then I'll be considered as an authenticated users, otherwise it will show that your password mismatches, and then you will be getting a notification or error notification, your password does not match, and forget the password options. And along with this, I just wanted to explain about the concept of salt value. Salt value, which is something that an additional value which will be randomly inserted in between your password. Say for example, if this is my password, I am ash vk4u, the password, the salt value which can be defined by the any organizations, right? Maybe the Google or wherever you are having the account, right? Say for example, if I'm maintaining the website, I can define that my this hash code or the salt value which is 2f, right? Now this 2f which will be inserted randomly depends upon my algorithm, right? Say for example, if my algorithm which insert the salt value every after second letter, or maybe every after 10 bits, right? For example, I'm taking this, the salt value which has to be added every after second letter, so here and here and here and here. So here the entire password, right, which will be converted as I